This is the 2021 Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Yeast Experiment number 2, Saison. Thank you to our sponsors, Imperial Yeast, 5 Star Chemicals, Beer and Wine Hobby Homebrew Supply Store, Brewing America, all stainless steel mash paddle sponsors. Also Hopsteiner and Yakima Chief Hops. Get brewing.
Hey guys, Matt here at Rex Brewery. Going to do another review. This is for the Brewtubers Yeast Experiment number 2, the Saison. Got a couple of these left. So the next one I pulled out of the fridge. This one comes from Nikhil, Lazy Otter Brewing. It's got a cool label there. He's one of the few people that I know that use PET bottles. Very cool. Probably real easy to ship with because you don't have to worry about any kind of breakage there. So he brewed this in New York City, and I want to apologize, Nikhil. It was kind of an impromptu quick visit to New York City. I was actually up in Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago visiting family, and my 13-year-old really wanted to see a couple of landmarks in New York. So we pretty much went up there for a few hours, did those things, and came back. Otherwise, I would have loved to have stopped in and tip back a couple with you. Maybe next time. I'm sure I'll be up that way again. He's calling this the Lazy Saison, so kind of giving Gary a hard time with the name there. It's kind of funny, the Saison. So 6.4% volume. This is a 16-ounce bottle. Interesting. So actually, it's like a sort of a bluish color. Actually, before I read that, I thought this might have been a 12, but that's cool. So it's a little bigger. It's kind of the tall boy cans that a couple of us have been using. So it's a full pint here. Let's see, he's got a little label on the back there. It's kind of, with the condensation, it's kind of tearing up a little bit here, but he says here, second yeast experiment 2021, where the brewers came up with a unique recipe. Use different yeasts. This beer uses the Belgian strain of Saison, Wyeast 3724. It was fermented at 78 to 85 degrees to give the more yeast dominant Saison profile. Cheers. All right, now, before I tap into this, let me give you some more information. Just going off of our spreadsheet that we have online. For Nikhil, he did one package, no starter. He brewed it on May the 10th, kegged it on June the 4th, and he bottled it on June the 10th. He uses the Grainfather G30 120 volt system, mashed at 151, mash pH was 5.4, OG of 1054, sorry, that's the pre-boil gravity, 1054. OG was 1060. Fermented it started at 75, and it looks like he started it at 70, ramped it up to 78, and then cold crashed when everything was done. So he does a cold crashing here, ABV of 7.08%. Now on the bottle he says 6.4, so I'm not sure what the which one it is. We'll go with 7%. That sounds better. Of course, carbonated it here, and yeah. Let's go ahead and pop this open, and then we'll talk about the yeast. Got a little bit of a hiss there on that. You can see the bubbles already kind of trying to pop out of there. Got a glass from my local bottle shop around here, the Vault. It's a pretty cool place. Figured I'd try this glass out. I haven't used it in a little while. Yeah, it looks like it's got decent carbonation. Not a whole lot of a head on that. This might be a finger, maybe a half finger, something like that. Yeah, half a finger. It's burning off very quickly though. There's a good amount of bubbles streaming up there, and they are clinging to the side of the glass. So it does look really nice. But yeah, the head is pretty much gone now. It's pretty clear. It's got a little bit of a haze to it. I don't know if that's like a chill haze, but it's very clear. I don't see anything floating in there. It's got a nice like a deep straw, maybe like a copper color to it. So it's a little bit darker, I think, than mine and a couple others I've seen, but it still looks very, very nice. Let's take a look at the website here for Wyeast. For the 3724 Belgian Saison, this strain is a classic farmhouse ale yeast, a traditional yeast that is spicy with complex aromatics, including bubblegum. It is very tart and dry on the palate with a mild fruitiness. Expect a crisp, mildly acidic finish that will benefit from elevated fermentation temperatures. This strain is notorious for a rapid and vigorous start to fermentation, only to stick around 1035. Fermentation will finish given time and warmer temperatures, at least 90 degrees they're suggesting, and a possible use of a secondary strain to kind of accelerate the attenuation. Let's see here. So low flocculation, 76 to 80% attenuation, 70 to 95 degrees temperature range. That's crazy. That's up in the Kvike range of things, and it can go up to 12 ABV. So I have had experience with a couple of Saison strains that stall. So this is probably one of those based on what I'm reading here. And I noticed the same thing. I'll ferment it out at a lower temperature, like you would kind of expect, like 72, 75, something room temperature. And then only to find out that towards the end it stalls out and you have to raise the temperature to kind of get it to finish. One of the Saisons that I have done, not for this experiment, but maybe a couple years back when I brewed one, I do remember having to crank it up to probably 80 to 85 degrees to get it to finish. So it sounds like Nikhil may have had to do the same thing because he's got a wide range on his spreadsheet. Let's go ahead and get a nose on this. Yeah, it's pretty mild nose, very similar to a lot of these. You can definitely get some of the malt there. I'm not sure that I'm picking up any of that bubblegum they're talking about here. But I'm getting a little bit of a spice character from this, I guess. But I'm probably picking up more of the malt. Might be getting a little bit of like a fruit, maybe either apple or pear or something like that from this. But it's very toned down in the aroma category, but it's very similar to a lot of these. A lot of these haven't been very punchy in the face in the aroma category. So let's go ahead and see what we have to offer here in the taste. Cheers. That's nice. That's real nice, Nikhil. Yeah, I'm probably getting a little bit of the pepper there, mild on the spiciness. Still not getting that bubblegum they're talking about there. But it is dry. Yeah, it's definitely dry. It's not real tart like they're talking about, but it's really cool how it kind of dries out the palate when you drink it, just making you want to go back for another sip. It's delicious. And I can't really pick up any flaws in this. It just tastes like a well-crafted beer. Yeah, I can see it is a very crisp tasting beer, but I can see what they're talking about here when they mention a mildly acidic finish. Definitely getting something like that there on the finish as it's drying. Very nice. That's very cool. That's it's kind of I would put this in the category of between a lot of these being that they were middle of the road, and I think it was Gary's. It might have been Gary's that was a little bit sort of turned up. When I talk about that volume, turning up the Saison characteristics. I think this is probably in between maybe mine and Gary's. So it's definitely in that sort of middle of the road Saison quality, not real spicy, not real peppery. Definitely getting a lot of the good malt out of that and getting some of the fruitiness from it. But it's starting to head towards the getting a little bit of the Saison, more of the Saison characters that you expect from one. But it's in that really nice sort of middle of the road or mild, I guess, category. I love that. It's really nice. But anyway, nice job, Nikhil. Great beer, excellent Saison. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of this as I kind of gather my notes. And thank you again to our sponsors. And we'll see everybody on the next review. Cheers.